5 miles long. The time trials are run over with a mile and a third acceleration run. They get their speed up. Then they're timed for about the last 132 feet. This was the timing stand with Otto Crocker. Otto Crocker was a timer for many, many years. Then Gary Cagle took over the job, and then Glenn Baird has the job of running the timing equipment. This stand was built in 1947, and they have a new one now in '93. Here we have Jerry Eisart. He was the president of SCTA at that time. He's got a Corvette, and he can't figure out why the car won't get off the trailer. So Burke Lesage comes up and says, you forgot to unhook it. So they unhook the car, and he gets off okay. And we attached a movie camera on this car later, not to make a run, but just to drive around the pit area to give you some idea what the pit area is like. They've been running high-speed time trials out here since way back into the 30s. Only one car is run at a time. It's not like the drag races. You just run one car. When that car clears the course, then they send another one through. It's about a 5-mile long course, so they got plenty of room to shut off in. If you, the cars right now, in the early days, they didn't run parachutes. But now they have to have parachutes on, they go so fast. This car right here is run by Bob Brissett. He's got a blown Chrysler in it. He's the same one you saw earlier with a different car on the drag strip. We mount the camera. You can see on the roll bar that, where I put a little protective covering underneath the camera mount. Bob held the record in 1961 with this car at 184 miles an hour. The runs we make on the car will be in the 180 mile an hour bracket. They showed this film clip at one of the 200 mile an hour banquets at the end of the year one time, and Bob was always kind of bragging about how straight the car was, and they kind of kidded him about the camera. The camera was swinging around a little bit, and they were saying, hey Bob, we thought this thing went real straight. And the camera's kind of panning back and forth a little bit. Little 40 Ford Coupe right here is run by Bob's brother, Jim. Got a Dodge engine in it, and he ran 100, 125 with that car. Now, Bob is a pretty high-geared car. He has to get pushed off, and he'll probably get pushed out about 100 feet or 100 or a little better before he engages it and starts making his run. Also, about a third of the way down, he has to make a little dog leg to the left. And when you're in a car like this, accelerating hard, and you have to make a turn, it can be just a little bit on the hairy side. Wouldn't it be neat to have the engine sounds to go with this car right now? So he's probably going well over 100 miles an hour right here, and here he comes up where he has to make a dog leg to the left to get by some of the boonies out there. Now he's got about a mile to go down the course, then they'll clock him for the last 132 feet. We finish this run, we're going about 180 miles an hour. Filming on Bob's car, I had an electric movie camera, and filming on Bob's car cost me an electric movie camera. I made about 3 runs on the car, and the next time I tried to use the camera, it was gone. So we figured, well, the engine was turning about $8,000, and so was the camera. The little intermittent unit that passes the film on was completely gone. Well, watch this roadster spin out. You may have to back that up, because I didn't call it your attention quick enough. A fellow named Hank Yates is driving the car, had a small DeSoto engine in it, and he was clocking, just clocked 150 when the car spun out. He don't know why it spun. He just all of a sudden, the car cranked to the left, and it spun out. This fellow right here with a hat, that's Tom Bryan. He's the owner of the car. And the fellow with the white T-shirt right there going into the Oldsmobile, he was doing the driving. The car, he kept the car breaking loose, so he kept the tires spinning, kept the engine turning up, didn't lose it and hit the brakes where he might have flipped it. But they bent quite a few rods in the engine. They had to take it back and do some repair work on that car before they could run it anymore. Here's Bob checking his roadster out, getting ready for another run. Gentleman on the left there with the hat on, that's Greg Giusotti. He used to run a Santa Ana all the time. He had a shop in Fullerton called Fullerton Muffler. And he used to run out there all the time with the Santa Ana drags with the Dodge. And he also was very enthusiastic about running at the Mirage Dry Lake. So we'll be heading down the Mirage course here in another couple of minutes in this car. These films are not in sequence. You're going to be in the bright daylight one time and back in the morning in the next. So there is no sequence as far as continuity goes. So you're going to have to kind of bear with jumping around just a little bit. Here we go again. The fellow driving this car, Jim, Bob's brother, one Sunday out there, the car caught on fire, and he had to bail out. He bailed out of this car when it was on fire at about 100 miles an hour. Got banged up pretty bad, and the car finally just came to a stop. It had quite a bit of fire damage on it. Here we are making a course adjustment again over 100 miles an hour. One of the first cars to go 200 miles out there was a Post Streamliner running Doug Hartel's Potvin-equipped Chrysler engine in a Streamline car. They were one of the first cars to break 200 miles an hour out of a Set Timing Association meet. You can see after you pass the finish line, there's a lot of shutoff area. You can go for about 3 miles. If you go any more than that, you're going to head out the exit road and go toward the town of Adelano. But fortunately, you got about 3 miles of shutoff area. Even if you're not running a parachute, hardly any of the cars back then ran parachutes. That wasn't even thought of then. Most of the cars just ran two-wheel brakes, slowed down, and took advantage of the long shutoff area. Here we mounted my camera on Jerry Eisart's Corvette. This is the one that was having trouble getting off the trailer. And we didn't make any run down the course. I just asked Jerry just to drive around the pits a little bit to show you what it's like out at the dry lakes. We tried with the camera on here making a run, but I didn't have the camera mounted right, and all I got was a picture of his roll bar and the windshield frame. So that wouldn't be on it. Otherwise, we did try to make a run with the camera on it. If we'd had the camera mounted then like we do now, we would have got a good shot of it. This Corvette right here is run by Jack Lufkin. And he run this Roadster, this Dragster, turned Lakes car. This is one of the first cars, not the first, but one of the many cars that turned 144 at the Santa Ana drag strip. They run anywhere from flatheads to Arden overhead with blowers on them at the drag strip. This car right here run by Belmont Sanchez. Now in '95, Belmont's running along with Doc Jeffrey. They run a Corvette at Bonneville, the world's fastest Corvette at 270 miles an hour. The little fellow who's driving that Studebaker just took off. So this is back in the 60s, and he's still racing. At the time we did the narration on this in 1995. If you want to hear some beautiful engine sounds, now this is open to the public. You can come out here. You have certain limitations of where you can go. But if you have a free Sunday and you can find out when they're going to have a meet, it's really a nice place to go to. It's kind of dirty, so the wife and the girlfriend may want to stay home. But to get up there and hear the sound of the engines, especially now, they have cars going close to 300 miles an hour out there now. And you have a 300-mile-an-hour car come through, it'll rattle the fillings in your mouth. I tell you, it's really awesome. Because some of the engines up there are putting out the same horsepower they do on dragsters. And unfortunately, the drag strip has better traction. So you say, well, they go 300 out there, they go 300 on the drag strip. But the difference is the traction. You take a car that goes 300 on the drag strip, might be lucky to go 200 and 250 out here because of the lack of traction on the lake bed. You reach a point where you can't get any more traction. Here's the usual crowd standing around listening for the time on the car going through. A lot of belly tanks were run back then. Some of the first belly tanks were run by Earl Evans, who later ran Evans Manufacturing, high-speed heads, and Alex Exidius in the SoCal tank ran a lot of flathead stuff. Now this shots right here are sped up just a little bit. The car's not really going this fast. I sped the camera up just for the fun of it, and it looks like he's going to go 500 miles an hour down the course. Just a general shot of the lake bed. What they have to hope for every year that the dune buggies didn't get out in the winter and put big ruts across where the cars would run. They have that happen once in a while. Somebody will get out and start digging ruts when it's wet during the winter, and it makes it rough to find a course they can run on. Also, it gets very windy out there. This was the Potvin, Hartel, and Post Streamliner. Chuck Potvin in the jacket as his own cam shop. They were the first car to turn 200 miles an hour at El Mirage. I think they were running with Bracetta at the time. I walked into Chuck's shop over in Anaheim one time, and he had Ack Miller's engine on the dyno. And just as I walked in the door, the engine blew and sprayed oil all over the shop. And Potvin was laughing, but Ack didn't think that was too funny because they had engine in and out of the Cabello, and there was parts and oil all over the place. needless to say, it required a little rebuilding. But it sure made a lot of smoke. Smoke just poured out of the shop from all the oil. Belly tank here is shutting off. Here's the post Streamliner. They were running 180, 190 at this meet, but it was like, as they repeat, they were one of the first cars to go 200 miles an hour. Now here we are another day. You'll notice that the color changes when you go from one filming of another. So there really is, the continuity is not there, but the history is what you're watching. You're looking back at stuff that not too many people have on film. And these were shot back in 1959. That's my 58 T-Bird there. So these were shot 59, 60. Some of these were shot in 1961. They still run out there, and they run 6 meets in the during the summer. During the winter, they have to go. They can't run out there because the water gets in there and makes the course too